Lutman, we're going to do a couple at 7 o'clock, right?
Yeah, so the first round will be at 7:20. That'll be our best guest of the year and our top roaster of the year.
Top roaster of the year, best guest of the year. We have 5 Doobie Awards for our first annual Doobie Awards. Next year, we may flush it to 10. Do the entire show with Doobie Awards. First annual Doobie Awards on the morning roast. Couple awards. We'll give out a couple awards at 7:20. By the way, this date in history, James Wiseman makes his NBA debut.
No way.
Against the Brooklyn Nets. Scored 30 last night, career high.
What'd you think of that?
Good for the young man. After I felt, even Mully said, I was very disappointed in his performance Tuesday at Madison Square Garden.
He was the worst I think he's ever looked, which is a statement in itself.
Yeah, he looked awful.
Yeah, horrific.
Last night, look, I get it. You're down 40. You're down 30. You gave up 46 points in the first quarter. I got Draymond Green. It's just.
By the way, Ben Simmons looked great.
Ben Simmons set the tone against Jordan Poole and took him out the game.
Yeah, he looked great.
He took him out the game.
I know I've walked back the Ben Simmons thing. I might want to walk back into it, or I don't even know what the phrase is. He looks great.
Ben Simmons ain't going nowhere. I don't think Brooklyn's trade at all.
He looks great, doesn't he?
So, he physically set the tone against Jordan Poole. Took him out the game. Jordan Poole, 4 for 17.
Bonte, they are
1 of 11 for the 3-point line. They are rolling right now.
I want to just take a step back. I'm just going to ask you a big question here. My grandpa asked it to me. The Warriors even going to get to 15 road wins this year?
Don't know. Depends on Steph. We've got a couple games at OKC.
Let's say they did get Steph back in a reasonable. Let's say a couple weeks from now, right? I'm hypotheticals here. Just all hypotheticals. Like this road thing is like I can't unsee it. It's bad.
Well, last night you knew they were going to lose. I mean, last night just throw it out the window.
Yeah, but I don't want to move off that. That's my biggest issue when we discuss the regular. Like the playoff Warriors are a different story. You got to get to the playoffs, and that everything changes once you get to the playoffs. But that's my biggest problem with regular season Warrior talk is there are too many nights like last night where it's baked into the schedule because of some of the deliberate, which I would be doing too, rest things to keep guys like.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to win 15 road games. Honestly, don't know.
So that's where I struggle with this whole like, they can get right. Like, I want them to tread water.
They got to do things at home.
I mean, they got to be prolific at home.
And they have been so far.
Okay.
But the road thing, like when you go 0 for 5 on a road trip in Charlotte, Orlando, Miami, Detroit,
even just
and in New Orleans. Wins. I mean, Fitz said it, man. You win a couple of those games. They've blown 4 games that they should have won, right? They're 19-12 going into the last night. You're tied for first place, but you're not. You are what your record is, right? That's what Steve Kerr said last night.
And the injuries are just killing me, too.
Last night was just...
It was a hollowed-out version of themselves.
I mean, Wiseman looked great, but how can I...
I know. And Patrick Baldwin Jr., I like him.
I'm looking at Draymond Green, right?
He had a couple nice passes to Wiseman.
I look at this road trip for him. Take away the Toronto game. My man scored 12 points in the other 4 games he played on his road trip.
Ugh.
That's 3 points a game. That's 3 points a game. He had no impact. Last night, you could see right away, he don't got it tonight.
So, okay.
So when I look at a guy like him who says, I'm the greatest defensive player of all time, well, there's Kevin Durant. It's regular season. It's Brooklyn, New York. It's national TV. Greatest defensive player of the year. Check Kevin Durant.
I mean, that's not. Kevin Durant is all-time great. He was so much fun to watch last night.
But still, Draymond, check him. Set a toe.
He can't. I mean, who can guard? Honest to God question.
Who
is guarding Kevin Durant?
That's not what I'm saying.
I know. I get what you're saying.
You're not going to stop him.
Yeah.
Last year, Draymond took the assignment to guard Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And he made it difficult for him. Last night, there was no physicality.
Yeah, what?
You're leaving Kuminga on Kevin Durant? Jonathan Kuminga, really? I'm going to do that to JK. Hey, go out there and guard Kevin Durant. Go, Moody, go ahead and try to guard Kevin Durant. Oh, man, we're going to get to switch Wiseman. Go guard Kevin Durant. Draymond Green, take the assignment.
On one level, I'm very conflicted with the Warriors right now because on one level, I totally understand the team and the fan base's approach to, well, they've never been beaten when they've been quote unquote whole, the big 3 I'm talking about, right? And the loyalty and the desire to want all those guys to finish out as Warriors and blah, 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 blah. On the other hand, my brain is telling me and my eyeballs are telling me, and I've said this from the beginning, we could talk about all these minor trades and moving this young guy for that young guy. I don't think their best players are good enough.
Right.
I just don't.
I do. I think their top 6 is good enough. The starting roster has been good enough. The bench has been the problem. And the way the bench has been managed has been the problem. The way the youngsters have been managed has been the problem. The development has been a problem. I need 8 to 9 guys. When they were humming at 18-2 last season, they were going 9 to 10 deep.
Yeah, but Draymond was outstanding every single night.
Draymond has played actually good basketball up until this road trip this year.
Well, I mean, this is when I needed him.
But up until this road trip, Draymond's played good basketball.
Yeah, but when Curry went down in this road trip is when I need him.
Up until this road trip, he's played good basketball.
I hear you, but like
You
if you're going to thump
on
your
this
chest,
road trip.
if you're going to thump your chest,
Well, I just said
I'm
that.
not saying you. I'm saying Draymond Green about how I'm a top 75 player. Klay Thompson too, same thing. They were all super mad, and I have reached the point with Klay where I'm just going to be. I'm going to disagree with a lot of people. The knee thing. This is to me, this is a red flag. I'm really worried about Klay Thompson.
Well,
I'm not disrespecting him. I'm assessing in real time what the pivot should be with him and how to manage him moving forward. And I just don't know if we can rely on these top 6 the way that people think that you can. I don't think it's fair.
He's had a great 11-game run and then just slumped for the last 4 games. Klay Thompson's always going to be up and down.
He's a 31-year-old player who has got a sore knee again after missing multiple years. Like, that's who he is. And I think we're all in denial.
They say it's a sore knee. They say it's a sore knee. They say it's a sore knee. They say that. Just lit up Boston 2 Saturdays ago. Lit their asses up and defended at a high level.
He will have his moments, Bonte. I'm not
Clay's
denying.
Not the problem.
He will have his.
Clay's not the problem.
Bonte, you've got 2 players making $80 million, and then the third guy making another $30 million. But that's part of their situation.
You keep looking at
part
the money
of why they
with Klay.
couldn't keep certain bench players was because of the money.
You keep looking at the money. You keep looking at that. Clay's not the problem. What you get?
Is he an answer?
Steph rolling.
Let me ask you: is he an answer?
When Steph's there, yes, absolutely.
On this
and he
team,
proved that. Absolutely.
Is he the 3rd best player?
He's probably 3rd or 4th best player. Who's better? Jordan Poole hasn't been better this year.
No, I'm not going to make that argument.
No, you better not say that.
Steph
He hasn't been
and Wiggins,
better.
and I think there's an argument to be made that Looney's been more impactful than Klay.
Looney has not looked great this road trip.
I know, but I think he might be more impactful.
They need bench. They need
no bench pieces solving their problems.
No, I think you need to add 2 guys. I think that the West is the Warriors are 3 games back of the Sacramento Kings for the top 6 seed. This thing could flip in a heartbeat. They go 15-5 and over a 20-game stretch, and all of a sudden they're in the top 6 of the Western Conference. Then what have we said? Oh, the Warriors back. The Warriors back. Oh my God, the Warriors are back. So we're screaming.
I don't know.
So I'm not going to panic yet. I need to see the team whole. Maybe they don't get whole, and it's a wash season.
It feels like that. I feel like, and Sam and I were having this conversation, and maybe people don't want to hear this because you're wasting a year of Steph. I honestly feel like for the organization, if they're being sincere about themselves, you're not a champion this year. It's okay. The years happen.
How could you say that? We haven't even got to January.
Because everyone's hurt and they don't look good.
Last year they said Boston wasn't a playoff team in December.
But that was a young team before they're even in their prime.
This is a championship team.
And
I'll take a championship team over a young team
I don't
any day
think
of the week.
this is a championship team.
I got championship pieces.
I agree with that.
When they're whole,
I agree with that.
Championship caliber.
I do, but I just don't think it's in the cards this year. And sometimes that happens for you, you know? And I look at them and I say, you might have to take a step back here. Take a step back in the small term to let some of these younger, if you are committed to the younger guys, take the step back, take your lumps, and let them play to take a step forward next year. And I know people don't want to hear that, but I'm starting to lean in that direction. That's why I'm conflicted with where the Warriors are at. I feel like they're at a crossroads, and I don't think there's a right answer.
I don't think these young guys are ready to roll.
I agree, but that's my point, and that's where Moody showed more flash yesterday. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but they were down 40 points.
I know.
They were down 40.
But you're going to have to embrace that.
How can I critique a team when they're down 40? They're down 40.
That's part of the maturation process of young players.
These young players, if they want to ball out, they got to ball out against the KDs. They got to ball out against the Kyries. They got to ball out against the Ben Simmons to help you win championships.
I can't even get Jordan Poole the ball out against them.
They're playing against the Coney Island Typhoons or whatever in the second half.
I don't know.
And we're going to
I just think we have a philosophical difference.
They were playing pickup basketball last night in the second half.
No doubt. But Bonte, like when you're playing, you're expecting Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb to give you significant minutes.
Absolutely
you're
not.
not a champion.
Absolutely not.
When you're expecting
Absolutely
JMG
not.
to be an impact player, you're not a championship.
That's why
team.
you may have to make moves to become a
Yeah,
championship
that
team.
to me would be pennies on the dollar. That to me is penny wise, pound foolish.
Man, I don't know. I don't know how good Wiseman could be. I don't know about
He wants to
play a different. Warriors centers play a different way, and I love the young. I think Kuminga's a keeper. Kuminga's a guy I can keep. So when I look at the Warriors, Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Poole, Looney, Draymond, that's 6. DiVincenzo's 7. Kuminga's 8. Can I find 2 other guys?
Yeah, I don't
Can
think
I
that
find
6
2
is
other
good
guys?
enough. That's me.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. They got the best net rating in basketball. All right, more coming up on the Morning Roast, brought to you by Fremont Bank, full service.